When the war broke out, many of the Jews fell into panic. They didn't know what was going to happen to them under the Nazi occupation, and they were forced into the Warsaw Ghetto. Here on this very ground, in 1943, the Warsaw Uprising unfolded. They call it one of the most heroic acts of the Second World War. These Jews were either sent to the work camps, shot on sight, or sent to extermination camps all across. So come with me as we follow and investigate the path of Jews under Nazi occupation as we head more south to the root cause, basically, of how it all happened. Warsaw is built different. This type of park, where I'm from in Dublin, this would be riddled with trash and just homeless people, shelters and everything, but it's actually clean. It's just so surprising to see. That's so surprising. They're just normal people living their lives. You don't see this in Dublin. Where's the crackheads at? Where's the Dublin crackheads at? But when I was actually in Krakow, some people would still, like, obviously there is homeless people everywhere, but like people would still come up to me, ask me for money, but as soon as you tell them no, they just leave. But everywhere else they just don't. Especially in Dublin area, like, people just nag you. If you tell them no, they just keep at you, like. But at least here, when you tell them no, they just leave. It's crazy to think that in this exact place was where the Jewish ghetto was, where they were literally forced out of their houses and all put inside this one complex, which the conditions were really shit. This is the site of the monument where they were sent to their deaths, to the Treblinka camp. Right here. People sent against their wills. That's their names, surnames. Over 300,000 people were sent from here to the Treblinka camp, and then just basically died by probably gas chamber or shooting squad. That's the map of the ghetto. Just on the outskirts of Warsaw. This says the women of the Warsaw Uprising. People don't know how much women are actually fighting in the uprising as well. Many Jewish women picking up guns and leaving the kitchen. That's how it was back then. This is probably one of the coolest monuments I've seen in a while. The uprising was actually unsuccessful, but the courage of the people fighting for their country is still very well commemorated here. That's the boundary of the ghetto, right there. All of these are around the city. This is the old bank, it says. Bullet holes in the building. The old bank still standing, didn't need to be restored or anything. And you see the PW sign, which is, PW stands for Fighting Poland, basically, if you translate it. It's crazy. The weather's very bleak and rainy right now, which is actually very fitting to where we're about to go next. The biggest Nazi Jewish extermination camp, where millions of people never made it out alive, never returned home to their families. They were just left here, work until they died. And this is where the extermination of Jews was optimized as if it was a production line of killing. All the logistics about it was designed by Adolf Eichmann, which later on he fled to Argentina with his family. Ultimately he was caught by the Israeli spies. He was caught and then extradited to Israel, where later he was charged for the crimes he committed. The way he was caught was actually because of his son. He dated an Argentinian girl, which he would brag about to her, how his father was a big SS man. He was an important fella in the Nazi regime, which later on she snitched on him basically, and ultimately he got caught. Many Soviets died here as well. Now I could not imagine like living here. There's people living here and everything, when you're literally like a few meters from where millions of people were tortured and died in the most horrific ways. Like, now how could you see someone just peacefully living, but on the other side you have fucking Auschwitz camp. I'm gonna go to the main camp now, the front gate, but I don't know how much I'll be able to speak over there, because just to have some respect, you know, because it's a very, very emotional, very sensitive place, really. So yeah, we'll see. Take some videos anyways. Yeah, that's the start of the camp there. I've got a church. It's crazy. Weird feeling. Just imagine how much people were just killed just for their religion. Crazy. That's the entrance where many people faced the end of their lives. They didn't know what was going to happen to them. Just here, brought by train, by carts. That was Auschwitz anyways. It's really eerie, like just knowing that like this much people died. So, and there's a lot of tourists just taking selfies, which is kind of a weird thing, kind of a dystopian thing. There's an old wagon monument somewhere here. I want to try and show you. but I don't actually know where it is, so I'm gonna try and look on Google Maps to see where it is. It's actually one of these type of wagons that my great granddad, he was sent to the Gulag, and he actually escaped because I've been told by my granddad that there was a really big muscular guy that destroyed the train bars, so him and like 3 other men actually escaped into the forest. There's some kind of ruins here as well. I don't know what it is, but it's probably some sort of, I don't know, barracks, some sort of house for the soldiers maybe. Don't know. It says it's protected by the government, so it's probably something to do with it. Oh mate, what a fucking whip. It's a fucking Subaru, man, just outside of Auschwitz. What the fuck? Yeah, that's the ruins here anyways. I don't know, it could have been some kind of barracks, some kind of houses for the soldiers and everything. Don't know. Ah yeah, those ruins, it says right there, they were magazines with food. Yeah. There were magazines where people left food for the prisoners. Probably wasn't much of it, but it's in French. Why is it in French? I don't know. That's the train tracks anyways, that were brought all the prisoners to their deaths. You can just imagine in the middle of the night, they're taking you on a train to then just be shot and killed. Yeah, and this is one of the wagons that would transport all the different Jews from all over Europe, brought in the middle of the night by the Nazi soldiers against their will. It says right there, this was a drawing by an unknown artist which was made in secret in the camp, placed in a bottle and hidden in one of the barracks. 1947. Crazy that they found it as well. With these type of wagons that the disoriented Jews were then transported and then ultimately died at the hands of the Nazi regime. It says here this was referred to as the Jewish track, the Jewish ramp, between the spring of 1942 and May 1944. 500,000 Jewish men, women and children from various countries were brought here. It's crazy, these people were brought here by train, sitting there for hours and hours, because they weren't only Poles here, it was Ukrainians, Russians, Jews from everywhere, all over Europe, even all the way down from Hungary, even Spain, France, everywhere. And here you have the remains of the train tracks used. And these go all the way to the front gate of Auschwitz. And this is where our story ends. The Vienna Academy of Fine Arts, where the infamous Austrian painter got rejected from, which ultimately then started a spiral of obsession and hate of the Jewish religion, the Jewish people.